What is up, everybody? Happy Tuesday evening. You know what I mean? We're here to talk about some Green Bay Packers. Can the Packers offense get it figured out and turn this thing around? You know what I mean? We're going to talk all types of Packers stuff right here. But before we jump into all that Packers talk, you know what I mean? Big shout out to the sponsor of the show, Kwik Trip. You know what I mean? They got themselves a bake sale going on. You know what I mean? They got all types of the bakery stuff on sale. They have like $2.99. You can get like some donuts over there. They have all types of good stuff. The Rice Krispie treats are on sale. You know what I mean? So go ahead and check out the bake sale over there and get yourself fed. Get some goodies in your belly. You know what I mean? Over there at Kwik Trip. And then Nicolet Law. You know what I mean? If you're on your way to Kwik Trip and you get in an accident or you get hurt in any type of way, and the insurance companies are being flaky with you, you're not working. You know, you're out of work, and things ain't going good for you. Check out Nicolet Law, nicoletlaw.com. Talk to them. If they can help you, they're gonna let you know. And Russell Nicolet, fantastic fella, I was on his podcast coming up soon. I don't know when they're gonna put it up, but Midwest Legends podcast. Check that thing out. Charlie Barron's. They have a lot of great guests over there, so be sure to check that out. You know what I mean? And let's get right to it. You know what I mean? Hammer the chat. We are live. This is also a podcast on Apple, Spotify, all the places. So if you're watching this on YouTube, wherever, Facebook, you can download the podcast and listen to it on your way to work, you know what I mean, if you miss it. But we got Kevin's in the chat over here. He said, what's on your mind? You know what I mean? Is that like, I think that's what like Facebook or Twitter asks, like, you know, and when you type in something, what's on your mind? I don't know what's on my mind, you know what I mean? What's on my mind right now, we're going to talk about Green Bay versus the Carolina Panthers, you know what I mean? And I want to say as well, you know, shout out to Vinny, you know what I mean? What's up, Vinny? Pop in here and say what's up to the people.
Well, what's up? How is everybody doing tonight?
All right, so Vinny, the producer, you know what I mean? For people listening on the podcast, we had, you know, he's here with all the graphics. He's here with all the stats, all the stuff that we're going to talk about. I want to give a shout out to Vinny because I couldn't do it without him, you know what I mean? I could. It just would be a lot less good.
Oh, thanks, Matt. You're awesome.
All right, so let's talk about this Green Bay Carolina game. We got the stats over here. Jordan Love was 26 of 37. He had that interception. Josh Jacobs, 17 carries and a touchdown, 87 yards. Jordan Love also had 273 passing yards. I missed that. But Romeo Doubs, 91 receiving yards, 7 receptions. McKinney had that pick, and McKinney had a sack and he had 3 tackles and a sack. He had a pick too, right, Vinny?
Yes,
he had that back at the end zone.
Sack and a pick. Yeah.
Everyone was asking, where's McKinney? You know, he showed up right here. But Young, he was 11 of 20, 1 interception, 102 yards. 102 yards passing, and you win the game. That's just crazy. Doldle. I think I'm saying his name wrong, but he had 130 rushing yards. They were really getting after it. 25 carries, 2 touchdowns. So they weren't passing the ball real good, but they were they had the run going on. And then McMillian, he had 4 catches for 46 yards. Nothing too fantastic over there. So now we have the full stats over here. You know, they didn't have anything. We don't have to go over like Carolina, like what they did passing. They didn't like do anything passing wise. The Packers, you know, the defense is good. The defense is not the problem. The offense has to get it going. You look over here. Wilson had 6 carries, 16 yards. Williams had 1 carry, 0 yards. Romeo Doubs, 91 yards, 7 catches. He's on my fantasy team, so I like that. Christian Watson, 2 catches, 58 yards. He was in a blue tent over there. We're going to talk about that. Luke Musgrave, 3 for 34. Tucker Kraft obviously got hurt. He had 2 for 20. We're going to talk about that as well. But, so those are your, the stats rundown over here. We're going to get to the chat, and then we're going to, continue this conversation. We got a lot of people checking in over here. Billy says Sunday was just ugly, and that's what it was. Like the offense, just like inside the 20s, like they can get it done, right? They kind of move down the field, and then come red zone, they got all types of mistakes. They had a fumble, they had a missed field goal, they went for it on 4th and 8 for some weird reason. I think that was it right there. But they just didn't do good. What's up, Robert? How you doing over here? Rick says, hey, bro and Vince, good evening. Was sweet that Kraft did restructure of his bonus to help the team. I didn't see that. See, I didn't see that. So, I was scrolling on the old Twitter machine today, too. I did take a nap, you know what I mean? So, but I didn't see that. Marshawn Lloyd, huge bust so far. I was really hoping to have this guy be a beast. Yeah, he's been injured. I don't know how many snaps he had since being a Packer, but yeah, he's the guy that people want to see on the field, and it's frustrating. I think it's frustrating for everyone, but yeah, I don't know if I'd call him a bust, but like when there's injuries, he's not in the field. I guess I get it. How about them Colts? Holy hell, Sauce Gardner. Yeah, so the Colts add Sauce Gardner. So the Colts, what do they got? I think they just got a second loss, but the Colts owner. I think it's I don't know her name. I think she's the owner but I've been seeing her on social media a lot. But she's getting after it. The Colts are getting after it. Like they are all in. They're like, hey, we got something going on here. Let's go all in over here. So they go and get Sauce Gardner, big time trade over there. So you know what I mean? Let's see what the Colts can do. Maybe they're in the Super Bowl for the AFC. Howdy, Matt. Howdy, Vinny. What's up, Karen? How you doing? Jesse said, your video earlier was hilarious. That one about money made my morning. It's funny because I was at work, Vinny. All right. He's talking about this video where I said, I was at work and this like popped in my head. I was like, hey, I'm going to make a video where I say, hey, I was just in my first robbery. And like, I was really scared. It was rough, but and then I pulled up a bunch of money, and I'm like, yeah, but it went all right. I did pretty good, and to me, it's funny. It didn't do real well, you know what I mean? Not a lot of people liked it, you know what I mean? But to me, dude, I don't know. Most videos of mine don't make me laugh, and the ones that do usually don't do very well. The ones that I think are stupid, like, nah, this isn't funny, because like especially with TikTok, like with the eye video stuff, that really wasn't eye video, even though I did the eye thing just because they add a little spice to it. But whenever I do those, like, I never know if they're funny, like, because the stupidest ones to me like do the best. So I just post them. If I think about it, I just post them.
I saw it and it cracked me up. So I thought it was hilarious too.
I appreciate you, Jesse. Appreciate you, Vinny. Was Sunday an overlook? That's a good question because everyone talks about do the Packers like overlook teams? You know, because when they play these lesser teams, they kind of play down to their level. And like I'm always like I don't buy that because I don't feel like professional football teams are looking past. I don't think that during the practice like yeah, we don't care about the Panthers. We're looking onto the Eagles. I don't believe that that's what happens, but you know, it's hard to argue against it when when they're playing these lesser teams, they do like the offense was just horrible. The play calling was horrible. They had penalties, they had fumbles, they had missed field goals. They went for it on 4th and 8. There was bad decisions by the coach. There was bad decisions by the quarterback. It was just bad, you know, offensively. I'm still in on the Packers. Like I'm not like I see everyone on Twitter and Facebook everywhere freaking out, like saying like you know it's over. Tucker Kraft is out, and you know the way this thing going. Like if the Packers beat the Eagles, which is a hard game, obviously Eagles are top of the NFC right now, but if they do. Everyone's going to be high on them again and talking about how fantastic they are and this and that. And that's just kind of how it is after that Steelers win. Everyone was talking about how great they are again. So that's how it is. That's the NFL. You win, everyone's high. Oh, yeah, this is the greatest thing in the world. You know, Jordan Love is this and that. Then they lose, like Jordan Love isn't even a starting quarterback, and they just try Willis, and then all this crazy talk comes in. So, yeah, I mean, going back to the question, was Sunday an overlook? I mean, it kind of was. Because I mean, it's hard to argue against it. I don't think that they overlook teams like that, but you know, you play down to him. Like I don't understand. So there's something to do with that. You know what I mean? Golden needs to be thrown to more than 3 times a game. Maybe use him when we get to the red zone. Yeah, they need to use. I would like to see Matthew Golden. Like my favorite route in the NFL because like I'm a basic Madden. You know, I don't know ball. You know what I mean? I'm a basic Madden. You know, type of guy. Is those crossing routes? I feel like you have a speed guy. Obviously, you can go over the top or whatever. But those crossing routes, get him the ball, get him in open field, and then just let the wheels turn. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think Matthew Golden's going to get more opportunities now because Tucker Kraft being gone, they're going to try to get more creative with it. Matthew Golden, he's going to get his. I mean, I know everyone's like, you know, he's a rookie. I see Bears fan and Viking fans trolling. We don't use our rookie. He's not that good. And he's a bust. He's this and that. Like, he will get his. They're not going to force it to him. That's not what the Packers want to do. They don't want to force the ball to you know, try to, like, make things happen. But I could see, like, you know, create plays that involve him. I would like to see Matthew Golden get the ball more, especially in open field. He's a fast fella.
Yeah, I did
Eric
notice
says-
one thing with Golden real quick, just to
what
update
you
you on
got?
this. I was watching back some of the plays on the replays and stuff like
Yeah.
that from the game. Golden was actually doubled quite a bit, so there was a lot of backside help defending Golden. So if you watch some of the plays, the safety came over to help quite a bit on Golden. So
Dude,
he
I wish
wasn't
I knew
open
under
very
the
much.
graphics. I'd hit that Hank Hill one. We're getting the inside scoop over here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but in Golden's defense, he was not open very much during that game.
Yeah. I didn't catch that. I'm not a film guy. I'm glad you are. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think Matthew Golden's going to be a dude. He's going to get a lot of balls. It's not happening right now. Hey, Matt and Vinny, go Pack, go. What's up, Erica? Appreciate you being here. Worst game in a long time, says Shane, and that's just what it is. I'm way behind on the chat over here, so I'm going to try to scroll through some of these. Defense balled out this game. It's weird going from a dominant offense and bad D to a dominant D and inconsistent offense. Let's go Packers. That's absolutely, that's the most truest statement is like, that's kind of how it happened for the Packers, is that the Packers offense isn't getting it done. The defense was good. And people were talking about, well, the defense kind of let them out, like, at the end of that game. Like, the defense allowed 16 points. If your defense allows 16 points, you should win that football game every single time. Every single time. You have to expect to score more than 16 points in a game offensively. Like, dude, that's just not okay. You know what I mean? All right, so I'm going to scroll ahead because I'm way behind on the chat over here. We're going to get to Tim over here. This year is different because last year Packers were beating bad teams and couldn't beat good teams. Now we are beating the great teams and now losing to the bad teams. And that's the thing. What do you want? So do you want to be where you beat all the teams you're supposed to beat and then lose to the hard teams? Because then you're like, well, then who have they won? Who have they beat? So, like, or do you want to beat the good teams and lose to the bad teams? I think you'd like to beat both of them. You know what I mean? But it's not happening for the Packers right now. So the thing is like, during the season, like, we are mid-season. It doesn't matter where the Packers are. Like, you have to have enough wins to get into the playoffs. And then come playoff time, you have to get hot. So people can say, like, I've seen Aaron Nagler say this, shout out to him because I watch Packers daily a little bit every now and again. And he was saying this is like, it doesn't matter, like, where you are now. It's like everyone, stay in the race, get hot at the end, and then get into it. Everyone talks about every week. The Packers win, they're the greatest thing in the world. They lose, they suck, they don't have nothing. Matt LaFleur needs to be fired. And then people talking about Matt LaFleur being fired. It's like, we're going to talk about that. We have a whole thing over there. But anyways, we're going to get into this. I want to get to a few more comments, then we'll move on. One player that will have a huge game on Monday night is a legendary Christian Watson. The king of backflips is the king of our offense. I love me some Christian Watson. He was in a blue tent. I didn't really hear anything about that afterwards. Vinny, do you know anything like Christian Watson wise? Can we check?
They were concerned about a concussion with him during the game.
Yeah, so that he's good to go.
Yeah, from what I'm seeing right there in the reports and everything, yeah, he's good to go for next Monday.
So because I didn't see anything.
But I don't think they're going to let him do backflips anymore, though. So,
hi, Matt, just popping in quick. Tuesday nights are Dancing with the Stars for me. Go Pack, go. Deb's getting at it. I don't want to interrupt Dancing with the Stars. You know what I mean? Todd says, bro, chatta, the F up Packers are doing great. There you go. You know what I mean?
Hey, Matt, aren't you going to be on Dancing with the Stars next season?
No, I don't think so. You know what I mean? I got to do some more, I don't know. I got to do some more work to get on there. But all right, so let's get moving. Let's talk about this Tucker Kraft injury because Tucker Kraft injury, absolutely horrible. This actually is one of the more disgusting injuries that I've seen. And then not the actual injury, because at first, like when it first happened, I was like, oh yeah, he kind of barely touched him. You see the replay, you kind of see that it is absolutely horrible. You kind of see that on the screen right here. He kind of was like on that sideway that kind of popped his knee. I was hoping it wasn't as bad as it ended up being. But the Tucker Kraft injury is horrible because it's not just horrible for the Packers. Obviously, for the Packers, it's horrible. For the fans, it's horrible. But for Tucker Kraft, he's about to be a superstar. Like he's a superstar. He has the ability, he has the skill, he has the mindset, he has the physicality. Like he's an absolute beast. Like Tucker Kraft is that dude. He's going to be the best tight end in the league. And then to have this injury happen like that, it's horrible for him. I feel for him more than I feel like for my team. But for the Packers offense, like what it means. Like I feel like he was a guy that brings physicality. He's a guy that, I mean, he's not a, older, type of veteran player, but he's been around for a little bit. Probably has like, a voice in that locker room a little bit. He like that quote. I think it was week 1, Kirby Joseph. I can't say the quote on this because this is a family show, but like he just gets after. Like he was like cussing out some people. He's just a physical dude, and he's very important to the Packers. He's I think he was like there. I don't know where he was like as far as like top receiving in the Packers, but he was a big part of Jordan Love's game, and missing him is huge. But Musgrave's got to step up. They got to do some stuff. I think they actually signed Vinny. Didn't they sign a tight end? What do they got going on?
From what I saw earlier, let me look it up. But yeah, it was a tight end that was off of the practice squad that was brought up, and I think it was either an offensive lineman or a defensive lineman that was brought up also.
Yeah. So. Yeah, he said losing Kraft hurts, but it's Musgrave season. And that's the thing. Musgrave is a dude. He was a dude that was drafted ahead of Kraft, right? I'm pretty sure that he was drafted first, and he was supposed to be that.
That is
dude.
Correct, yes.
And then Kraft just popped off, and Kraft started doing his thing, and Musgrave had some injury situations. So kind of Kraft had those opportunities. So now Musgrave, it's your time. You know what I mean? And he's a beast. He's a big fella. I see him at training camp. He's a large human. You know what I mean? So we have to, get behind Musgrave. You know what I mean? Let's get it, Musgrave. It's time for you to take over, kind of fill that spot because, Kraft was a big physical, and obviously there are different types of players. But we need Musgrave, but they got to get some depth over there at tight end. So
what they did is they signed defensive lineman Aaron Mosby and tight end Josh, and it's
Mosby.
Pronounced Wiley, is Josh Wiley from the practice squad.
Josh Wiley, I think.
Yeah, it looks like Wild, Whyle, but it's pronounced Wiley, is what it says. Yeah,
podcast right here. You know what I mean? We don't even know the names. Musgrave is no Kraft. Stop to be well, I don't think he's a Kraft, but he's a dude. He's a tight end. He's a big guy. Obviously they have different skill sets, like I said, but I think Musgrave might surprise some folks. Then they're looking into Asante Samuel, free agent. Trade deadline was today. A lot of trades were brewing today, but Packers didn't have a big one. Erica says they signed 2 tight ends, an offensive lineman, and an edge, and there was talk about signing the cornerback from the Chargers. So yeah, we're gonna see like what team they have because they're going in to play the Eagles. It's gonna be rough. Checkdowns are great, but we get in the red zone and don't capitalize. Eat clock, drive all the day. And nothing. And that's like I saw. I think it was what's his name, Orlovsky talking about this. I think Aaron Nagler might have talked about it. There's some people on Twitter, talking about it. But basically, what teams are doing is they're like saying we're not going to let you pass deep on us because the kind of the Packers game, like they kind of dink and dunk and then they kind of take their shot. So there's like everything's got to be underneath. So they're making them do all these underneath shots, run the ball, not really giving anything deep, and then they're hoping that you make mistakes like in the red zone, and they play good defense in the red zone, and that's exactly what the Panthers did, and that's what the Packers did. They had penalties in the red zone. They missed field goal when they went for it on 4th down and 8, which was just a horrible decision. I don't understand like what was going on there. So let's move on and talk about that.
Actually, real quick before you move, there was one other video, Dobbs. Talking about
Romeo Dobbs talking about Tucker Kraft. Let's get into this. Let's roll the clip. Roll that bean footage.
Wouldn't wish that, just on, one of our captains or even just your worst enemy. I don't wish that on any man. And, Tucker is in a better place. But again, you just gotta. Next question, please.
He said, next question.
What did Tucker die? He's in a better place? Yeah. What's going on?
Here's the thing, like, with that clip, let me have Romeo Dobbs back, because I do love me some Romeo Dobbs. Romeo Dobbs is not like the camera. He does not like the media stuff. He does not. I don't know. I don't know Romeo Dobbs, but what it appears to me, he does not like that part of the job. Kind of like Marshawn Lynch. Marshawn Lynch handled it differently. He was kind of wild with it. But Romeo Dobbs clearly doesn't seem to like that part of the job. He kind of misspoke. He was whatever. I don't know if he's nervous in front of the media or if he's just I don't know. I get it, dude. I've interviewed players. Like we were talking about this on Twitter. Daphne was saying he would come back to the Packers, and Dominique Daphne, and he was a tight end for the Packers. I had him on my podcast, like when I very first started my podcast. Not very first, but I was kind of early on in the days, and I was just so nervous. I wasn't prepared enough, and I just sucked, and I was horrible, and I was just like weird about it. Asked some weird questions, but he was super cool about it. But the point is that sometimes when the camera's in front of you, you say weird stuff if you're not really comfortable. And I don't think that really likes that part of the job. But Romeo Dobbs, just catch balls. We're all right. You know what I mean? People are going to make the jokes a little bit. But shout out to Romeo Dobbs. You know what I mean? Let's get to some more comments over here. What is Tucker Kraft's recovery time, or is it on a case-by-case basis? Go Pack, go. I don't think we really know at this stage. But I think he would be back by next year. We're halfway through the season, right? It's different like when they get hurt at the end of the season with ACL. I've never torn ACL. I've never done an activity that would cause my ACL any jeopardy. I'm pretty, you know what I mean? I just walk. I don't do a lot of running and cutting and whatnot, getting hit with helmets. But I think by next season he should be good, but we're gonna have to wait and find out like how his process time. We've seen a lot of guys come back from injuries quicker. I think Tucker Kraft is kind of that dude that he's gonna be back as early as feasible with the injury he has. But they say we're not doctors. We don't know exactly what that injury is. Sean says, need a cornerback to go sign Gilmore or Samuel Jr. Can't be no worse than Nate Hobbs. That guy is terrible. And Nate Hobbs is hurt. So, like, if there's guys that they think will benefit the Packers, like, go get them. I don't care about the money. It ain't mine. You know what I mean? The trading situations I get is like different. But if there's guys that you can actually go get, go do that. Oh, we got Tiffany in the building over here. You gotta get Tiffany the old arrow over here. Keep me company, Matt. I'm on a flight bored out of my mind. All right, so, dude, I'm going on a flight, dude, soon. I'm going to the New York Giants game. We're going to Jersey. I'll be in New York for 5 days. Never been on an airplane. Never left Wisconsin. Really, except they got a KFC over there. We mentioned that over there in Michigan. So I don't want to say I'd never left Wisconsin because obviously I tiptoed out the border every now and again. You know what I mean? Never to Illinois though. You know what I mean? Minnesota. One time they're like, if you go down that road, you can go to Minnesota. And they were telling people like, just go over the bridge, turn around, and come back, so you could say you went to Minnesota. I was like, why the heck would I want to say I went to Minnesota? I don't want to go to Minnesota. Screw that place. You know what I mean? But yeah, so I'm going on my first flight. Going to be in New York. I'm going to be on a subway. I was just talking to my brother-in-law about this. Like, I'm going to be on a subway, and I'm going to be in Central Park. I'm going to be all around the places. Basically, every intro for every Law & Order ever. You know what I mean? They're always in a subway or Central Park. So, it's going to be a good time. Tiffany, have a great flight over here. Hex says,
Matt, I've got a horrible question for you since you were talking about flying, right?
What do you got?
What if your plane like goes down in the Rocky Mountains, right? And you remember that movie called Alive?
Yeah, it's that movie.
Yeah, the soccer team crashes down in South America, Brazil, whatever, in the mountains, and they had to eat each other to survive.
Yeah, they were eating booty.
So my question is, if your plane went down in the Rocky Mountains and you're there with Kevin, and Kevin dies before you, and you need to eat to survive, would you eat Kevin?
Dude, I would die. First of all, I'm not surviving any type of situation like that. You know what I mean? I don't want to survive either. I would never want to be in some type of survival situation like where you like to live off the land and like figure it all out. These movies like Alive is kind of like that. They're eating people. I mean, I get hungry. I get hungry a lot because I eat a lot. So like, I don't know. I could probably eat a person like a day. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm a picky eater though. I can't imagine I'm going to be doing some cannibal stuff.
What if Kevin was wearing a KFC shirt?
No, I don't think I can survive that type of stuff. All right, let's keep moving over here. Heck says the Eagles wideouts are a concern. Our corners need to ball out, dude. And that's the thing, and corners need to ball out. And what helps that is a good consistent pass rush. They have to get after the quarterback. They can't let him have too much time back there because then you're making your corners cover longer, right? So they have to get a consistent pass rush. But the defense overall isn't my concern. I mean, we can bring up the comparisons. Like, we're going to talk about the Eagles in a little bit, but we have comparisons kind of showing like what the Eagles are doing versus the Packers. But I think the Packers defense really isn't the biggest concern. I think it's the offense, but the corners are definitely a concern, obviously, right? And Sean says Seahawks, Eagles, and trash Cowboys will get all got better. Good luck going up against AJ Brown and Smith with this cornerback group. They're gonna get cooked, especially if the pass rush can't get home. So that's the thing, Sean, right? But whenever people say that, the Packers win. And whenever people think the Packers are going to win, like, big, they lose. So maybe, the Packers figure some stuff out. But you're absolutely right. There's some concerns there. We got Eric over here says, what do y'all think about the free agent signings? I don't think signing Banks and Hobbs were good signings. A lot of money for zero production, money that could have been used for here at the deadline. And I think Hobbs was supposed to be a dude. Like, he was a good signing. Everyone was excited about it. Kind of didn't pan out, like, so far, not looking good. Now he's injured. He had some bad games. So, but yeah, I think, look, like, they thought it was going to work out better. Hasn't really worked out. Maybe to what they liked, you know what I mean? Hex says Romeo needs an extra cover on his helmet. Yeah, we're talking about that video. Romeo Dobbs, he's a different dude. He's unique. Shout out to Romeo Dobbs. I love me some Romeo.
All right, Matt, we need to move our way on to the subject that's the touchiest for tonight, the Matt LaFleur subject.
No, we don't.
Yeah. It's the one we've been dreading. Yes.
All right, here we go. We'll get to one more comment over here. Is it too late to trade a 7th round draft pick to the Eagles for Jair? It would be pretty insane if that would have had. Dude, that's the thing. Like, Jair going to the Eagles, I don't think that's really an issue. Like, I don't know what's going on with Jair. We'll talk about that when we talk about the Eagles game. But I don't know. Something going on over there. But we're going to keep moving over here. We're going to talk about some Matt LaFleur. Everyone's talking about Matt LaFleur. So what are your thoughts? Matt LaFleur, first of all, people talking about him like he's going to be fired, like they're going to fire him mid-season, leading the division mid-season. They want to fire. Obviously, he's got to fix some stuff. We're going to talk about this, but I believe we have a video clip over here. We'll play.
That is correct. These are the words that he said right after the loss.
Yeah. So hammer the chat. Let me know what you think about Matt LaFleur, and check this out.
100% starts with me. Give credit to Carolina. They played the game that they had to play in order to beat us in regards to trying to run the football consistently throughout the course of the game and just make us dink and dunk the ball down the field, which we were able to move the ball, and then played good defense in the red zone. We had the 2 turnovers, missed a field goal. So we did enough things, just, we deservedly got our ass beat.
All right, so here's the thing. First of all, big shout out to Philly Boy. He's in the building over here. But Matt LaFleur talking about that. I love me some Matt LaFleur. I'm a kind of a Matt LaFleur kind of defender because I do think he's a good coach. But I'm sick of hearing about the that's on me thing. You know what I mean? Because that's on me. That's on me. All right, well, how about not be on you? Like that 4th and 8, he said, shouldn't have done that. That was a bad decision. Well, then I knew that, right? And I'm an idiot in my basement doing a watch party. Like 4th and 8, like, what are you doing? You how do you not trust your defense in that situation? Then the play call, like, nobody was open. People can drill Jordan Love for that almost interception in the end zone. But where was he supposed to throw that ball? Nobody was open. They had a bunch of clustered up people on the left side. He threw it to the right side where he thought maybe Dobbs got pushed out of bounds or maybe he could fight for the ball or whatever. But like that was his best scenario. There was nothing there. So that play call, the whole play, it was busted. The decision was stupid. Shouldn't even been in it. And I'm still riding with Matt LaFleur. You know what I mean? Let me know in the chat like what you think. But dude, Matt LaFleur they need to stop throwing that. Everything is like behind the line of scrimmage or like within like 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. Like push the ball downfield. Like what are you scared? Like I don't get what it is. And then maybe that is why situations where Jordan Love's kind of heaving it up because he's like sick of all this dinking and dunking where he's just like, this is my opportunity. I'm going to take a shot. You know what I mean? But it's frustrating. It's frustrating watching Matt LaFleur call plays. I think he's a good play caller. I think he just gets too creative. And I've seen, I think it was Orlovsky was talking about this, where like everything's like a scheme and everything's kind of, you're like almost like outsmarting yourself. Like you're just trying to be tricky. You're trying to be, this is my scheme and it's a trick play. Not only trick plays, but creativity and all that stuff. Just play football. Just push the ball down the field. You don't have to be, Einstein about the play calling. Just like do what works. Find out what their weakness is and try to attack that, because all Carolina did, like we were talking about earlier, is they didn't let you have the deep ball. They kept everything underneath, like he said in that clip. And then come red zone time, you made mistakes. You had penalties. You had fumbles. You went for it on 4th and 8 and called a stupid play. You did stupid stuff. You know what I mean? So they got to clean that up. And now they're taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. You know what I mean? But let's get to some chat. We want to talk. I want to see what people are talking about over here. They got to scroll up too high over here. But here we go. Seeing J Money on the Eagles is going to be crazy. Yeah, I'm not, yeah, we're going to talk about that, but it's crazy. Is it too late? Oh, I scrolled up way too high. Here we go. Is the guy Dallas got better than Parsons? Is the guy Dallas got... No, he absolutely is not. I think the wind caught the long pass that almost was intercepted. Yeah, I think the wind caught that. I think the wind caught the one that was intercepted as well. I think that was a horrible decision, so I'm not like defending Jordan Love in that way, because I think that was a bad ball. That ball shouldn't have been thrown, the one that was intercepted. But that ball was up in the air. The wind caught that. Then there was crazy winds. But either way, that ball shouldn't have been up in the air to begin with, because he shouldn't have thrown that ball. But that interception, that ball got caught up in the air. But Romeo Doubs, I think, stepped out of bounds. But he should have fought for that ball. He should have tried to knock it down in the end zone, even if he was out of bounds. Like, well, you can't be the first one to touch it. Well, you'd rather that than a pick six. You know what I mean? So I think that was the bad play. It shouldn't have even been there, because they shouldn't have been going for it on 4th down and 8. Well, like, I don't understand going for it on 4th down and 8. Like, that's not what the Packers do. Like, 4th down and short, like, I get it. But 4th down and 8, like, take the points. Like, you're in a low scoring game. Like, you kind of see how this game is going, and your defense is good. Like, you trust your defense. The Packers defense is good. They're not going to let the Panthers, throw up 30 points on them. Like, you didn't need to do that. And afterwards he agreed. He's like, I shouldn't have done. But like, and people on Twitter were like, well, it's easy to say after. Like, no, I was saying it before, and I'm an idiot. A lot of people were saying before, as it was happening, this should not be 4th down. I didn't think it was going to get snapped. I thought they were like screwing around, and then it was just it was horrible. Open the field. Use Golden and Watson deep, says Frank. Yeah, Christian Watson, they got to try to figure out the deep ball. Obviously, they got to have enough protection offensive line-wise to get the ball downfield. But, like, I think for so many years for the Packers offense, we were yelling, run the ball. Aaron Jones, run the ball, run the ball. Now everyone's like, hey, throw the ball a little bit. Throw the ball downfield. Push this offense. Do some crossing routes. Don't have to get so creative. Get some simple stuff. Get some easy first down. Get some rhythm in this offense. Get pushing down the field. And obviously, they're kind of doing that to a certain degree, so it's kind of stupid to talk about all that, because it's like red zone stuff. And, inside the 20s against the Panthers, they were kind of getting there. They were moving the ball. They had the yards, but like they were just not. Come red zone time, there were fumbles, penalties. Like the penalties drive me freaking nuts with these penalties. Clean it up. This offense, just clean it up, dude. Clean it up, and then they have the tools, bro. Like it's like me. I have tools. I can't fix my truck. You know what I mean? I don't have tools. But if I did have tools, I still couldn't fix my truck. You know what I mean? Just because you have tools doesn't mean that you have to know how to use them. You know what I mean? You got to use them the right ways. Use Matt LaFleur. We trust you. You're our guy. Just get it together. You know what I mean? Fix it. You know what I mean? We're both team Kwik Trip. You know what I mean? I feel like we're on the same team. I love me some Matt LaFleur, but I think he would agree. He's not without criticism. No one is. And let's see what Jonathan's talking about. When players are not winning up front, Matt has to come up with something better. Yeah, you have to figure out ways. Like when you see players are not winning, players are not doing well, or a scheme isn't working, you have to try to figure that out. Like, I'm not acting like I'm all ball knowing. I'm not a ball knower. You know what I mean? I work at a cheese factory. I'm doing this in my basement. So if I was a big ball knower, I'd probably be in a stadium right now, working on some game plans. But so I'm not acting like I know more than Matt LaFleur. But, I think he's a good coach. But you have to switch up some stuff. When things ain't working, if your offensive line isn't be able to protect, you got to figure out the chip and all those other things. I trust him, so I'm not like trying to tell him, and obviously he's not watching, but I'm not trying to act, I hate talking about this stuff because I always feel like I'm like acting like I know more than people who actually do this. Play calling is one thing, but most of what LaFleur was copying to was caused by poor execution. Accepting fault is those points was the most politician-like comment I've ever heard him say. But I think I think Matt LaFleur does deserve some criticism. They're not pushing the ball down the field. So there's obviously some execution. There's the penalties. The penalties always come back to the coach in a way too, because I feel like if you have a team with a bunch of penalties, it seems like it's not disciplined, and even right or wrong, that goes back to the coach. But individually, you have to be accountable as well. Individually, players have to doing stupid penalties, fumble the ball. Fumbles are going to happen because someone punches the ball just right. Balls are going to come out, but players got to be accountable for their actions as well. But it all goes down to the coach, just like at any job. You screw up, there's someone above you that is catching heat for that as well. Even though you're an idiot and you did it, someone's catching heat for that. Aaron says, I think Green Bay would have won the game, but they kicked that field goal. Yeah. If they had kicked that field goal instead of going for a 4th down and 8, I think the Packers win that game. There were so many bad decisions in that game, and now it's the Eagles. You know what I mean? So we're gonna see, but we're gonna keep it moving over here. We have mid-season grades we're gonna talk about. We're gonna do some mid-season grades. We have 307 folks watching live across all the place. I appreciate you, but mid-season grades. So I'm gonna bring in Vinny on this thing because I want to talk to Vinny about this and hammer the chat. All right, so let's do. We're gonna do basic offense.
Yeah, start with the offense.
Offensive grades. Hammer the chat. Let me know. Give me your offensive grades. We're gonna start with Vinny over here. So Vinny, the Packers offense, they have their good games. They have their not so good games where they score 13 points and lose. So how do you grade this offense so far halfway through the season?
Well, you want to see the offense do great. We got spoiled a lot of years. That's why a lot of people get mad when they're not super like we're used to see, right? Now, they've had some injuries. We got to take that into consideration also, right? The offensive line got banged up a little bit. But you're right. The play calling hasn't been the greatest. They just haven't been taking advantage of situations they should. They haven't played the best against teams we should be killing. I hate to say it, but I'm going to give them a C+ for the midseason grade for the offense. And I hate doing it, but really, I think they need to wake up, honestly.
Yeah, so we got appreciate that, Vinny. We got Aaron says B-. Matt says B-. Dude, I'm going to say C. I think I have the lowest grade because you said C+. I'm going to say a C because I just feel like with what they have and what they're doing, they're just not getting it done. And I feel like half the time they're really good and half the time they're not, and then that's average, right? So I think a C, B- is good too, but I think a C because they're just not reaching their potential. A lot of teachers told me that when I was in school. Every report card does not reach potential. And that's what I feel like this Packers offense is. Josh Jacobs is an absolute dog. All right. Tucker Kraft is gone. That sucks. It's brutal. It's horrible. Christian Watson is still here. Reed is probably going to come back at some point. I don't know what's going on with Wicks. Matthew Golden is over here. Romeo Dobbs, you know what I mean? They have the tools. You have the tools. You got the burgers. You got the buns. You got the chips. You got the cheese.
Plus,
put it all together.
Consideration,
you know
yes.
what I mean?
And these guys have been hanging out in the kitchen now for a couple of years, so they know what's on the menu.
Yeah. You know what's on the menu. You know what I mean? What's Kevin saying over here? He says, Team Kwik Trip has been doing this job. Gary, A-, Golden, B-. That's team, I think that's team Nicolet. I'm not sure. No, I'm not sure if Golden is with Kwik Trip. Anyways, here we go. Let's keep it moving up. Matt says, do we think we see Musgrave turn a page of his career, this opportunity, one more of the same or more of the same? I think we do see Musgrave. This is his time. He was supposed to be that dude, right? And then it didn't work out. He got injured. Kraft kind of took over, and Kraft, took that opportunity and ran with it. And now Musgrave has an opportunity. So, what are you going to do with it, Musgrave? What you going to do? I feel like he has all the tools, too. He's a big fella, you know what I mean? Obviously, they're different type of tight ends, Tucker Kraft, better at blocking. But Musgrave, this is your time to shine, baby. You know what I mean? And we're gonna see what he can do with it. We got a comment here. Love needs to feed Golden the ball more. I think it's more about LaFleur kind of calling those plays. Everything's kind of short. Like they need to kind of stretch it out. But yeah, absolutely, they need to future Matthew Golden more, whoever that is, whoever it is. Philly Boy says, "See exactly." Philly Boy agrees with my grade over here. You know what I mean? Erica says, "What's up with the unsportsmanlike conduct call that was on the Packers or the Panthers?" I forget which one which one you're talking about there. I see. I kind of remember there was unsportsmanlike, but I'm not really sure. Dylan says, "See, move forward, put the youngest team in the league's young legs to work." We're going to get to a few more comments. We're going to move on to this Packers versus the Eagles game over here. He stepped up right after Kraft was injured in that game. So, yeah, we're going to see what.
Well, how about defensive grades now, halfway
through? We're not done. Yeah, defensive grades. I'm giving him an A.
I'm going to say A- because they definitely have room to expand. The secondary, to me, brings it down to the A-.
But like what they've done, like if you look at the points and like what they've done, I'm not saying you're wrong because this is.
Oh, they've been terrific. Don't get me wrong. They've been outstanding. Yes.
They've held this team into games when the offense was just doing nothing. I think this defense, we're gonna give it A. And Hammer the chat. What do you think? Defense A. Micah Parsons addition. You know, people talk about this. I've seen graphics on Instagram and all the plays. Zero pressures, whatever. I'm not like one to like know what pressure. Like I kind of wait for ESPN or whatever to tell me. But it doesn't matter like what Micah Parsons does like stat wise. He's helping the whole defense. He's taking pressure off of other guys like Rashawn Gary. This team only allowed 13 points in this game. Obviously the Panthers aren't like world beaters, but it was 16 points. They allowed just over 100 yards passing. The defense did their job in that game. That game was lost by the Packers offense and some of the decision making over here. Aaron said he's giving him an A.
But when they take when he takes the pressure off of some of the other defensive line, for example, when they double Parsons, that opens up the area for one of the other linemen, which means that one of the other linemen up there should be getting an advantage to do something.
Yeah,
and that hasn't been happening.
Rashawn Gary has like seven and a half.
Gary's been doing it, but what about the other guys? You know
what I mean? I know, but I think if you just look at points, like I don't have the stats over here, like for defense, but I think that the Packers defense is one of the better defenses.
I agree. I agree.
They're not perfect, obviously, but I feel like they're doing enough. They're not at all the reason the Packers lose games, or tie games. You know what I mean? What's up, Frosty the Snowman? So what's up, Maddie, Vinny, Philly? You know what I mean?
The jolly happy soul. That's that man right there. Yes.
Aaron says, I changed my offensive grade to a C. I think we turned him over here.
We turned him.
Note that Van Ness been out. Yeah, Van Ness has been out too. And
that was
that's
huge.
A big deal. And I do think that LaFleur was talking about him, maybe possibility of being back. I forget exactly. I saw some quotes earlier about injuries. But yeah, so special teams, you want to do a grade on special teams?
Shall we dare?
Erica's talking about defense over here. Yet she says C, or maybe it's offense.
I think she's talking offense. Nobody gives the defense a C.
But yeah, so special teams. I don't know, maybe a D at best. D minus. I don't know. The special teams isn't anything to write home about. Obviously they got some missed field goals. They got his kicking situation. They banged out a 61-yarder record, but they had some missed extra points. They're not really doing anything crazy in kick returns, but I don't think anyone is in the league because the way the kickoff rules are. I don't think I've ever seen a kick return for a touchdown yet this year. I mean, live. I'm sure there's been some, but I've never seen anything. You know what I mean? So special teams. I'm gonna say like a D minus. Hit the chat. Aaron agrees. He says about a D over here. Erica says, let's see what she's talking about. They said that they need to play better and do better than they need to act like they're a championship team, but they're got to hold each other accountable. It's not just the coach, it's the players too. Absolutely. It's everybody in there. I just think that Matt LaFleur, some of his decision making has been, and I think like in the moment of the game, like things are happening fast or whatever. I'm not dogging Coach because I like Coach, and I don't think you're going to do any better. Everyone talking about firing him, I think that's just silly talk. Even after this year, like policy is going to fire him, and no, he's not. And who do you want to bring in? People talking about John Gruden. I do like me some John Gruden, but like I just don't think that they're not firing him unless like they lose like. They start losing out and then things go to heck and he loses the team. I just don't envision a situation, but he absolutely has to do better. But what are you thinking, Vinny? Special teams grade.
I'm with you guys on the D minus area like that. They started out in a good like they were starting out in a really good rhythm at the beginning of the season. Like they were making an uphill climb. Like hey, this could be the year. They're looking good. They're making changes, right? But then they just kind of leveled out, and
it hasn't
been exciting.
To write home about, and not that you would write home anyways. I mean, you just text people these days. Do we like the decision to stand pat on the deadline? I kind of get it. I think that they're probably in a lot of conversation because the Packers usually are, but they're not going to give up a bunch of stuff. They gave up a lot for Micah. They're not going to give up a bunch of draft capital. I'm sure that they tried to get some stuff going. But, you know what I mean? I mean, they always try to get stuff going. But they did get Micah, so I don't think we complain too much about trade situations.
And we are going to get guys back from injury, and we still have pretty good depth. Aaron
says, I think it's smart to go free agency. Don't have to trade nothing. Yeah, they're not going to give away all the draft picks. You know what I mean? This isn't Madden. Philly Boy says, Coach Rich should be fired this week. Whelan is a star, and LaFleur doesn't like to talk to kickers, so Rich was convinced McManus was ready. I mean, I think LaFleur talks to kickers. I think that was kind of a joke. But I do think that, Rich Bisaccia, if I'm saying his name right. I don't know if I've ever said it right before. But he's supposed to be like the end-all be-all special teams coordinator, highest paid special teams coordinator in the league. Special teams, it really isn't playing like it, but and they're like, well, he's really good in the locker room. Like, well, then put him in a situation that's best for him. Maybe he's not the special teams coordinator anymore. Maybe now he's the assistant head coach and he's doing whatever. And then you hire another special teams coordinator, someone to help him out because he's doing other stuff. I don't know. Whatever it is, figure it out, dude. If he, I don't care how much you pay him. Pay him $1 billion. It ain't my money. But like figure out the special teams. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff that we could talk about, like offense, but special teams, let's get it right. You shouldn't be missing like short field goals, and the whole kicking situation is kind of weird. You know what I mean? I feel like they have a kicking controversy over there. They don't know who to pick. But every time McManus misses the kick, LaFleur's like, oh man, they're going to kill me in the media. Not that I think he cares about the media, but you know what I mean. But here we go. Kevin said, kickoffs, field position is so weird, but not an exciting play. Not at all. Basically, every kickoff starts at the 30-yard line, give or take 5-10 yards, you know what I mean? Here we go. Matt says, I love Gruden, but he's been away from the game so long, and honestly, he did not look any better with the Raiders last time stint with Pete Carroll. I mean, listen to John Gruden talk about football on Barstool Sports, but I'm not a Barstool Sports fan or whatever, but I follow Gruden, so I see his stuff. But he still knows ball. Like, he knows ball as good as anyone knows ball. Like, Gruden knows ball. He loves football. He'd be a great coach. I think if he ever gets an opportunity again, I think he's going to be good. I know he's got that situation, why he's not coaching anymore, and I don't know a lot about that. But I think he'd be a good coach, but I'm not saying fire LaFleur for John Gruden. But I think if he gets another opportunity, I do think Gruden's going to – I think he's a good coach. He's fired up, you know what I mean? But he's having fun in doing what he's doing. B- overall. Yeah, so let's talk about the overall team real quick before we move on to this next game. Overall team, A- defense, says Erica. But overall team, what are you giving this team? We're talking offense. We're talking defense. They're sitting here first place in the NFC North. They were, top of the NFC conference, but now the Eagles are. And then they're down to fourth place. So what do you grade them? I think as an overall grade for the Packers, I think I'm going to give them a B.
See, look, averaging out for me, B+, where they're at, yeah.
Yeah, Matt Graham says B+. I always forget about the pluses. I never got those in school, you know what I mean? So, I'm going to say a B because I feel like the defense is lights out. The offense, I feel like they can be, like they have been. They have to figure it out. They have to, I think they have to simplify the offense a little bit. And when I say simplify it, I don't mean like make it easy to guess what they're doing, because that's kind of what they're doing now. But they have to just do basic stuff. Just run your plays. Don't try to get crazy with it. You know what I mean? But Matt says B+. Aaron says a B. We got Nate over here with a B plus. I think everyone's over here kind of agreeing. Phil said this is a solid B team with C coaching. You know what I mean? I would agree with that. And I think Matt LaFleur can be a top coach. He's just not right now as it's going. Overall, A-. They play down to the bad teams, but they hold their own with good teams, and those are the teams you see in the playoffs. And speaking of that, Shad Road 95, and I mean, we're going to have a nice little transition over here. We're talking about the Packers versus the Eagles. We have a good team coming up here.
Oh, that was slick.
Coming
that
up
was
here next
slick,
week,
man.
You know what I mean? Professional. You know what I mean? But we have the Packers, we have the Eagles. The Packers are favored by 2.5. In this thing. And that's the thing I don't really understand with the Packers, why they're always favored by so much. Even like the 13.5, 14.5 in some of these games. Like last week they ended up losing that thing. But like I don't understand. Like I mean, I'm all about the Packers hype train or whatever. But even here, 2.5, you're playing the Eagles who are 6-2. They're top of the NFC. The Packers just lost bad to the Panthers, but they're still favored by 2.5. Yeah, so I mean, I think the Packers are going to win this game. I think the Packers can win this game, but the favoring part is weird. And now check the Eagles right here. They're 6-2 in the NFC East. Dallas 3-5, Washington 3-6, New York 2-7. So like they're full control of that division right here, right? And the Packers, lot different situation. NFC North, Green Bay 5-2-1, Detroit 5-3-0, Chicago 5-3-0. I don't know why I'm saying the O part, but and Minnesota 4-4. But so the Packers are just hanging on by a tie right here, and they have a lot of ball games left. So like, we kind of see right here the stats over here. Jordan Love, passing yards 2,071. Jalen Hurts 1,677. So he's got to beat there. 534 rushing yards by Josh Jacobs. Barkley's only got 519, but receiving, Tucker Kraft, he has 489 receiving yards, and obviously he's not here no more. But Smith over here, he's got 588, and so the rest of it really doesn't matter. But Jordan Love, 13 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. What is bring that back one time? I want to see what so Jalen Hurts is 151, 215, 15 touchdowns, 1 interception. So Jalen Hurts is having himself a season. Jordan Love isn't playing as badly as people think. They kind of pull these clips of Jordan Love, kind of like his worst moments or like the worst looking moments, and kind of try to make him look bad. You can take that off now. But Jordan Love is capable. You know what I mean? Don't let the folks at ESPN fool you. Jordan Love is capable, but this Eagles team is going to be a tough one to beat. The Packers defense has to show up. This is going to be one of the toughest jobs for the Packers defense right here. We're checking out the injury report right here. The Eagles have, they got some people on IR over here. I don't know a lot about all these players. A.J. Brown, he's questionable with a hamstring. Obviously, that's important. But look at the Packers. We got Wicks. He's questionable with a calf. Luke Van Ness, questionable with a foot. So they were saying that I think that there's an outside chance that Van Ness could play. I'm not really sure. I forget the quote. I wish I remembered it from LaFleur. But Van Ness, he'd be huge to have back. Hobbs, he's doubtful with a knee injury. Matthew Golden, he's got a shoulder. He's questionable. And Tucker Kraft obviously is out. He's going to be on IR pretty soon here if he's not already. I don't think he is yet. But
one that's not listed for the Eagles is Saquon Barkley. Also, he's questionable day by day.
All right, so Saquon Barkley, that's a big. I have no doubt that he's going to play in that game. But the Packers, like, what they have to do, they have to push the ball downfield. They can't, like, we talked about the Panthers and we talked about other teams doing this, where they try to, like, stop those deep passes and try to push everything forward and, like, let you dink and dunk them, and then they hope for mistakes, which will happen, which have happened. So let's push the ball downfield. Let's play some good offense, play complementary football, pass to get the run game going, play tough defense. Clean up the penalties. Clean up the penalties. Stop with the penalties. We see so much of the refs. Clean it up. Clean up the penalties. If you just give the game away, if you just do the little things that lose you games, penalties, bad decision making, like going forward on 4th down and 8, doing like stupid stuff, just play the game. Take the points when you got them. You can't play a field goal team. You're not going to play a field goal game because you're playing the Eagles. The Eagles are going to put up points. They're going to get after it. Defense is going to have to fight hard, but we have to figure it out. And hopefully, make the freaking kicks. I mean, if McManus, if it's the other dude, figure it out. But like, they're going with McManus. That's what what LaFleur said. If he's healthy, whatever, go with him. You know what I mean? Let's figure it out. But if he's not healthy, I don't know why they're playing him. I really don't, because like just play who's ever best. Have them both active. I don't care. You know what I mean? Shadrow95 said this second half is way tough. Other than the Giants, the Pack could go 0-7. I hope they don't, but they're all legit contenders. We play. So let's check the schedule here. We have it on the screen right here. So coming up over here, we have the Eagles. Then they go on to the Giants. I'll be at that game in New York. Then they go to the Vikings week 12. Lions, we got week 13. Bears week 14. Broncos week 15. The Bears week 16. Week 17, the Ravens. And then we go to, I don't know where they're home and away. I don't remember offhand. But and then we have the Vikings week 18. So those are all tough games. You know, the Giants shouldn't be, but they're going to be on the road. You know what I mean? I'm going to be there. Hopefully I'm bringing some good luck charm. But the Vikings are playing good right now. They're playing better. The Lions are going to be fired up on Thanksgiving. The Bears, you know what I mean? They have their moments, so they're going to be fired up too. That's the thing. You're going to get the best out of all these division teams because they want the package. You know what I mean? The Broncos are kind of doing their thing right now. The Ravens, Lamar Jackson is back, and week 17, they're going to be fighting because they're going to be fighting for a playoff spot if they're still in it because they have a bad record because Lamar was hurt. They went on a losing streak. So that's a tough road for the Packers. Get some chat over here. Time for Musgrave to earn that contract extension. You know what I mean? Yeah, Musgrave. You know, it's Musgrave's time to shine. We got to stop playing from behind. Absolutely. You got to go out here, swing. You know, you're playing a good team, and, you know, they're playing a good team, and they play better against good teams. So maybe they go out here and win this thing. Monday Night Football. Everyone's watching. Everyone's been throwing dirt on your name. You know, Jordan Love, Josh Jacobs. Forgetting names over here. No, but everyone's throwing dirt on your name. Every time you lose, that's what they do. So now you're playing the Eagles, top in the NFC, Monday Night Football. Go out there and punch them in the face. Go out there and get this dub and switch the whole. Not that I care what people are talking about, but let everyone know who you are. Let's stop getting embarrassed out here. Let's stop. You know what I mean? Let's stop it all. Philly Boy says positive note. No Parsons offsides last game. There you go. I hope YouTube TV figures out an ESPN deal or no Monday Night Football for me. Yeah, that's brutal. So here is the schedule right here. They're at the New York Giants, obviously. Minnesota's going to be at home at Detroit, at home Chicago, at Denver, at Chicago, at home for Baltimore Ravens. That's good. That's a home game. December 27th or 28th. And then the Minnesota Vikings in Minnesota. So there we go. Now we have... You know, no ESPN games. Only one ESPN game. So hopefully they got that figured out. I will be live for the Monday Night Football game. So come hang out. If you can't get the Monday Night Football game, I can because I pay extra for it. You know, it irritates me, though. Dude, I'm rocking with YouTube TV. I will not cancel YouTube TV. They'll figure it out. I'll bounce around on free trials. I don't care. I'll figure it out. But come hang out with us. Monday Night Football. Packers. Eagles. We're going to be watch partying this thing, me and Vinny over here. Erica said, Aaron Nagler said that they should put Harvest back in because he's healthy and make, McManus get healthy. Yeah, I'm all with it. Put him on IR. I don't know his health situation, but I'm good with that. Like, I don't get it. If he's not completely healthy, why is he playing? Play the other guy. Let him get healthy. Put him on IR, whatever. Can the Packers bring in Mike McCarthy for offensive coordinator? I think he would be dominant if that would have. I actually think that would be a great idea. I don't think it's going to happen, but Mike McCarthy as offensive coordinator, I don't think there's any way LaFleur would hire a guy who used to have the job, the head coach job as offensive coordinator. But I think that would be ridiculous. I think that'd be awesome. I think Mike McCarthy's a very good offensive mind, very good with young quarterbacks. I think that's the thing too with the Packers lost Clements, who was really good with young quarterbacks. You know, maybe, you know, he's missing a lot. But I not that I think that Jordan Love is like, you know, people say, well, he's digressing. But I don't think it's really digressing. I think it's some of the play calling and then not put him in best situations. I don't know. But I do think that they'll figure it out. Philly Boy said, get the rabbit ears. It's on ABC, but I don't think it is. I heard this when someone said that going forward, the games will not be on ABC. They'll only be on ESPN. So I don't know. But even, you know, yeah, for local folks, it won't work for everyone. Someone was saying they should bench Love and get McNabb Sorry. Yeah, they're not. There's no way they're benching Jordan Love. Get out and punch him in the face. Is that how Matt and Vinny start pre-show meetings? Yeah. Get out there and punch him in the face a little bit. All right, we're gonna wrap this thing up. I have to use the bathroom pretty bad. We've been on for just about an hour over here, so I want to wrap this thing up. That's how I know when podcasts are over, when I have to pee. But yeah, we have a Wednesday pick'em show too. 7:30 p.m. Central Time. Come hang out. Remember, next week, Thursday, I'm leaving for New York, so I will not do a show Wednesday night because I'm going to be getting ready to go on Thursday. So we'll do Monday Night Football. Tuesday night, we'll do a podcast talking about Monday Night Football and doing our weekly picks like we usually do on Wednesday. But Wednesday, I'm going to chill out and get ready for this trip on Thursday. I got to work Thursday at 4 a.m. and then get done at noon, and immediately friends picking me up. We're driving to Milwaukee, then we're flying to New York. We getting after it next week. We going to New York, baby. Never
And
left.
a quick update for Karen. Her shirt is getting shipped out next week for the contest win for the name of the contest.
There you go. Shout out to Karen over there. She won this thing. Coach, Matt needs to take the leash off Jordan Love and let him call the plays like Aaron Rodgers. He needs to give him a lot more. Yeah, I understand. I agree a lot. Nate says, Nate, tell your folks that hi. Go Pack, go. Absolutely. We're going to see you guys next time. You know what I mean? Shout out to Kwik Trip over here being a great, fantastic sponsor, and Nicolet Law. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hammering the chat. You guys make this show so much better. You are the show. You know what I mean? I'm just here trying to ramble and read through all your great comments. You know what I mean? Great job, Vinny, the producer over here. You know what I mean? Let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Got the graphics going. You know what I mean? He did all that. You know, I just show up. You know what I mean? Just drink some beer and just start rambling over here.
Thank you, Philly boy. Hey, but you see, Matt's the star. Matt makes, whatever I do, Matt interacting with it is what makes it work. Everybody, a round of applause for Matt. Huh?
No.
Round of applause for Matt.
No round of applause.
You know, I'm gonna give you one. There you go. Yeah.
I appreciate y'all watching. Be sure to subscribe to the Matt Ramage Show on Apple, Spotify, all the places that you listen to podcasts. If you are listening to this on a podcast, I appreciate you. Not a lot of people do that, but also you can subscribe on YouTube, watch the video version. I appreciate y'all. Go listen to the podcast. You know what I mean? It's getting my ego down a little bit. No one's listening. I'm just kidding. Go Pack, go. Let's go get this W on Monday Night Foosball. We out.